Hello everybody, Hassan here, engineer, MBA, and investor. And in today's video, I want to talk about this video thread on x.com that I came through from, of course, our member of our community, Gene Investing with Anthony. And Anthony goes over a couple of posts here on this thread, specifically publishing video slash audio clips of the CEO and leader of Intellia Therapeutics, of course, NTLA stock symbol. And the CEO actually talks about a couple of things here. John Leonard, of course, talks about a couple of things. And I thought to myself, you know what? We have to make a video on this because I remember a couple of months ago, people were calling, like literally calling for the bankruptcy of Intellia Therapeutics, which is kind of insane when you think about a company that has near $1 billion cash in the balance sheet, that has not one but two successful clinical programs so far. And some of these statements made here from the CEO kind of reveals how the company is thinking long term. And this happened shortly after they restructured the company there with their workforce, reduced the workforce, kind of changed a little bit here and there that I believe we covered in this channel a couple of weeks ago. And again, this thread was from, when was this? This was from March 10th. So again, didn't really have a chance to cover it. I literally just saw it earlier today and I actually posted, I gotta make a video on it. So let's jump straight into it. So couple of things here, right? So the first post, I actually want to tackle the second post here, the financial part. I want to start straight into it. I want to play the video clip. I want to get your thoughts here as we play through it. So let's play it.
Behind us. This year, you should expect to see a decline of 10 to 15% in terms of the actual cash out the door relative to last year, and probably next year a reduction on top of what you already seen for this year. So in terms of the $860-some million that we ended up the year with, we're well into 2027, which is beyond the launch or around the launch of the HAE program. So, you know, as you think about the absolute capital needs, some of the models that we've heard about where people think that we need $1 billion or more is just not correct. Whether it's polyneuropathy, HAE, or the combination of the two of them, we would fully expect that by 2028, the company should be self-sufficient, if not even potentially profitable, setting the stage for cardiomyopathy. So the actual dollar amount that lies between here and there is on the order of $400 million or so.
So you guys heard that. That is potentially profitable by 2028, which is a huge statement. I don't think we've ever heard the company say that out loud in the past. If they've had, I missed it. That's a bold statement. That means this company thinks that whatever they're burning cash for, if that's how you want to put it, investor terms, burning cash. I don't see it that way. I see it investing in their own R&D programs. But nonetheless, burning cash, they could do it until 2028 where they'll be self-sufficient and potentially profitable. And actually, they're calling out for a launch for 2027 for the HAE program. And that's something we've seen in the past. They've mentioned this in the past. We covered a video on it. So that's a pretty big statement. This is nothing to sneeze at, guys. This is a 1 minute like webcast type of video that reveals a lot about the financial status of the company and also how the leadership is looking at it. In fact, the $1 billion come from, I think there was a statement made a couple of years ago. I don't remember where I saw it. It was from one of the journalists or something, that it takes about $1 billion from, the moment it's preclinical all the way to clinical approved launch. It's about $1 to $2 billion. Actually, I believe CRISPR and our community a few years ago was reiterating that. So I don't think he's the one who obviously came up with that model. Obviously not. But I think it's kind of understood in the market that it's about $1 billion to $1.5 billion, which John Leonard here basically disapproved that and said, no, that's not right. You're looking at about $400 million, which is over half of what they have in the cash balance sheet. So what are we worried about, right? I mean, that's basically the statement. Let's take a look at the next clip here. I want to take a look at this.
Clearly, the space is not satisfied. It's true there's many drugs. If you ask patients, they're not asking for better on-demand therapy. You know, if they have to take prophylaxis, they'd rather take it less frequently than more. But they're, you know, if you ask them what they really want, they want to be cured. They don't want to have the disease. And the data that we've presented suggests that cure, functional cure as we're calling it, is likely going to apply to the vast majority of patients who take the drug. And as you see later this year, some of the early estimates we presented may be low in terms of the proportion of patients ultimately achieve that. So, okay, when you think about the marketplace, you asked about churn, anywhere from 1 in 4 to 1 in 3, depending what sources you go to, of patients in that space will actually try a different therapy because they're not satisfied, whether it's the efficacy, the convenience, the mode of administration, et cetera. They're searching. And, you know, you can just look at the Intellia launch that took place. You can look at the Orladeyo launch that took place. I think in the case of Intellia, it was something like 1,100 patients in the first year out of a total of 7,400 or so in the United States. 10% of that patient population, over 700 in Orladeyo, tried the drug. So for us, we're quite confident, based on what we're already seeing in the phase 3 trials in terms of patients lining up in the United States and outside the United States, that patients are searching for a functional cure. And, you know, for our company, especially post-restructuring, not that much of that marketplace is necessary to flip us to being self-sufficient and potentially even being profitable based on HAE alone.
So I think there is a little bit of a misunderstanding about how margin profiles work. I think people...
Guys, that's pretty big. Self-sufficient just by HAE alone, the program. They're confident. That's the word Leonard used here. He's confident about what they're about to see in terms of data sets and so on. In fact, there's a quote here from Anthony. As you'll see later this year, some early estimates we've presented may be low in terms of proportion of patients who ultimately achieved a functional cure. And I think there's a lot of emphasis on the word functional cure because that is basically what we're looking at here, right? They want that. They want a functional cure. Patients want that. And I think that's pretty bullish for this this company, this landscape of CRISPR. I think for all investors, but most importantly for patients, a functional cure for HAE. That's what NTLA is working on. That's what they're betting on. That's what they want to launch by 2027. Again, there's a lot of regulations in there involved. It's not as simple as just saying it and making it happen. But at least you see how the leadership is thinking. Let's play this last clip here. Maybe not the whole clip. Let's see how it goes.
Right. So the trial you're talking about is magnitude.
That's right.
For cardiomyopathy. The enrollment's going extremely well. We're ahead of our targets, and if anything, it's accelerating as all the other sites come online, you know, by virtue of the regulatory process that we've been playing out. What we are looking for in that study is an effect overall for patients on or not with tafamidis, and then specifically for the effect on top of tafamidis. The study currently has a design of being randomized 2 to 1, that's drug to placebo, and a target patient population of 765. We've said that once we see the Amvuttra label, which is just around the corner here, and as we get a few more events under our belt, we'll make a decision, do we augment that a little bit? But either way, we expect to be done with the study in terms of enrollment by end of 2026. Event rates. We presented data last year at AHA in a very severely affected patient population. This is 50% of patients with class 3 heart failure. That contrasts with both the acoramidis and Amvuttra phase 3 studies, which was about 10% or less with that degree of heart failure. And a patient population included about 30% or so patients with heritable form, which is the very, very aggressive form of cardiomyopathy. Again, contrasts with about a third or less of that with the other phase 3 trials. So what we showed was with these TTR reductions that I already referenced, you can take that patient population, essentially freeze frame it, or in many of them actually reverse. And so that is something that has not been seen previously. And as we think about that in terms of event rates, that has huge ramifications for how we think about the magnitude study. So we're quite confident based on those observations as we think about the patient population in the phase 3 trial, which is less severe than what we've already seen a really significant clinical event. We're quite confident that the overall effect, including on top of TAF, will be positive and may well be positive early.
So guys, again, a couple of comments again from confident, highly confident. That's the word Leonard is using. A couple of times being used, that word. So That's how you're seeing the leadership thinks about what they're doing here. That's how I'm feeling about this company right now. Confidence. I think that's the big team here. Couple of other things. Sample size 765. That's their target with 50%. They said 50%, if you recall that, 50% with class 3 heart failures, which means that a lot of the individuals they're working with at that Next Z program with reducing TTR proteins are people with severe symptoms, right? This is something really big, guys. I think people have to understand not all patients are made the same, right? Just because you have a disease doesn't mean the next person with the same exact disease is going through the same symptoms, they're the same severity, or having the same type of symptoms. They may have the same quote-unquote disease, but they may be on two different spectrum. One may be having serious heart failures, the other one may be having minor heart failures. I mean, there's a spectrum, right? And I think we made a video on this, I remember early March or late February, and this came actually from Gene Investing, where there's a misconception about this space, and a lot of folks try to compare with what NTLA is doing with some other non-CRISPR company without sort of acknowledging that NTLA has done a lot of work here getting the patients in their sample size to be patients with severe adverse effects prior to, of course, enrolling them, right? People with severe cases of the disease, right? People with high severe symptoms, right? We're talking about risky symptoms, lethal symptoms. We're talking about folks that are more in the spectrum of in a danger type of health, right? As opposed to someone with the same type of disease, but maybe with less severe symptoms, right? So I think that video kind of, this particular audio clip kind of revealed that. But ultimately, I think this company, in my opinion, they're sandbagging their results. I think they see something coming through. Why would the CEO come through and make these comments? Confident, highly confident, self-sufficient, potentially profitable by 2028 with HAE alone. Why would they make those comments without having some sort of insight, right? Obviously, these guys are in this day-to-day. On Saturday they're working, Sundays they're working, on a Friday night they're working. These guys are working on the morning, at nights. You gotta bet they have information that obviously we don't have yet, that we will be presenting at some point. And I think that's the beauty here of data, of science. Science don't lie. There's a saying in basketball, numbers, the ball don't lie, right? And numbers don't lie. Same thing with science, right? With clinical trial, data science don't lie. So if you're getting really good results on a certain patient size with high efficiency and high safety profile, then to me, you can't really dispute that. And that's why this bet about launching in 2027 is coming a reality. And again, I want to remind viewers, 2027 is not that far. It's less than 2 years here. Okay, you guys got to remember, this is going to come really fast, right? And I personally think with the new administration, with everything we've been seeing so far, I think there's an angle for this company to come out of top here. I've made multiple videos on NTLA. It's one of my favorites in this space, or just in the stock market as a whole. Again, not financial advice. You guys got to do your own research, build your own conviction, but that's how I'm seeing the field play out here. So we'll wrap up this video like this. Again, let me know in the comments, what do you guys think here about these couple of audio clips? What do you guys think about NTLA? What do you guys think? Do you think they're sandbagging? Do you think they have more information than we have? Do you think they're far off here with maybe trying to appease investors or future investors? Let me know in the comments below. Again, really cloudy Saturday here in Toronto, and I was told to smile more in my videos, so I definitely didn't do that here in this video. So it's kind of hard to smile when it's very cloudy. Maybe I will later here if it gets a little bit sunny, which I think it won't be, but you never know. You never know weather here in the Northern Hemisphere, specifically in Toronto. So guys, I'll end this video like this. Hopefully wherever you are, it's beautiful. Getting some sun, get some vitamin D, always good. And let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Like this video, of course, subscribe if you haven't. Do subscribe, guys. Numbers are going up. Do subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.